Going live in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 162. It is the 4th day of the week, aka the shotgun dropkick workout. I am on my way to the gym right now, a little bit later than I wanted it to be, but hey, it is what it is. Gonna have to get used to these darker starts to these videos because it's just different times, so yeah, there's that. Today is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. Confessions of a live streamer. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because one of my favorite YouTubers, Natural Hypertrophy, who I modeled a lot of my workout plan using his videos as a basis of his programming knowledge in order to make my program what it is, and has helped quite a bit in sculpting the body that I have sculpted so far and am still sculpting. But he started live streaming, and that was the thing that got me into wanting to talk about this, because I too was a live streamer once. Back in the day, 2017 was the first time I live streamed. It was with me and my friend Walter. Shout out Walter, still editor of the channel, so shout out Walter. But that was back in the day. I stopped in 2021 was my last stream. I actually even did a last stream, and I want to discuss that a little bit maybe later, but I wanted to take this video to just talk a little bit about the differences between making a video and live streaming, and also the vast majority of people who don't understand live streaming and how it can be hard versus how it could be easy. They're so extreme on both camps. Live streaming is very hard if you don't know what you're doing, and it's also very easy if you do know what you're doing. I don't think people understand how hard it can be to be entertaining on the side that think it's super easy, and then on the other side, the people who don't realize that you're just sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours doing something relatively entertaining is one of the easiest jobs in the world. So like there's such a middle ground to it that people don't understand and don't realize is there. I always found both arguments kind of like, don't you realize it's like both things are happening? But that might be a whole other conversation for a whole other day, but I might touch upon it later, who knows. But I wanted to talk about my experiences live streaming and how that was like, and do I miss it? I think I want to discuss that, but I'll probably discuss that near the end of the video, maybe on the ride back. But for now, I'll say this. I started in 2017, I ended in 2021. That was 5 years? 5 years? Can I count? 4 years, 5 solid years of streaming, because I started in 2017, ended around like in the middle of it, and then ended around the end of 2021. So I'd say 4 to 5 years of solid streaming. I was like full-time for a good while there in 2020 because haha, look at that, world events. Seems it's funny how those keep popping up in the world or in these videos, but it is what it is. But still, I was doing a lot of that during the time because I had nothing really else to do. So there was that, but there was a good while there where I was streaming Monday through Friday, or at least almost Monday through Friday, from like, what was it? What was my old schedule? I think it was supposed to be from 9 to midnight, but it would always be like from 10 to 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever. It would just change depending on what was happening or how I felt on the day. My content that I used to stream, oh my god, is that a cat? It is. What I used to stream was just chatting on Twitch because, of course, that was the place to stream. Now it's just an oversaturated cesspit of sin and debauchery. But it's a whole other story. Just chatting, I just like to talk to people. That was the main thing I used to do. My title used to be life and relationship advice, and then I would just say, ask me anything. And then, of course, that got all the trolls to come in. And I ended up making a lot of friends like that. You know, a lot of the trolling people would come through and have a little bit of fun with it because, you know, it'd be like they would say, they'd do a troll joke, and then I'd just throw it back at them, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, hey, you're cool, and then that was it. And that's how most things should go when it comes to live streaming. You throw it back at them, they throw it back at you, you know what I mean? It's like a nice banter, as long as you don't take it seriously, because that's 90% of it, really. But that's a whole chat dynamic, and I'll be honest, there were some times where the chat fucking sucked, but I think that is more of a issue that most, if not all, live streamers have to deal with. And that I guess I'll say with this, and I'll say this as like the first confession. I hated about like, I would say like 80% of the people who would watch me back in the day. I did not like a lot of them, mostly because they were very fucking annoying. Some were needy, some were like, I need to make a joke all the time. You are the joke all the time. You know what I mean? There was very rare times where it was like, we could just chill out. I didn't need to fucking babysit half of them. That was one of those things that for the 80% that were there, the 20% that weren't like that, I still kind of talk to this day. So they're pretty nice. It's nice to know that I know them. So it is a little different from that side to this side. A good chunk of them, not a fan at all. In fact, it was very tiresome. Part of the reasons why I probably stopped, I'll probably make this one this is probably going to be a two-parter, honestly, because there is a lot I could discuss about this subject matter, not only behind the scenes, but how my general thoughts and feelings are, and like trying to live stream again, not really, but trying to, and seeing the difference between what it was like and what it's like now and all this other stuff. I could get all into that. So maybe I think of this as a part one, and then I'll probably do a part two tomorrow. But for now, with that being said, let's discuss a little bit more. We'll start from the beginning, and then we'll see how far we can get. But I will see you on the inside. All right, so on this day started with RDLs, which were fine. They still feel pretty good. But anyway, back to the main subject matter. So I'm going to probably talk about like the differences between live streaming and a regular job and all that other type of stuff in a different episode, because I do make another episode about live streaming after this. I wanted to talk more about my experiences live streaming. I wanted to break it down into two parts, which part two will be coming out in the next video. So part one is here, and it's about the first 3 years of streaming. Well, 2 and a couple of months. The reason why I say that is because when I first started streaming, it was, I believe it was August of 2017 is when I really started streaming. I started streaming with my friend Walter, and we sat in a room, my room particularly, in front of a webcam that I had randomly bought. I just decided, let's do it. Let's just do it. I stole my name at the time. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to have anybody find it, but those who know who it is know what it is. I stole that name from a failed YouTube channel from a friend that we were going to make a whole bunch of videos for, but it never actually ended up happening. So ended up starting streaming because I remember one day a friend was like, damn, I should start streaming. And this was like 2013, 2014. And I remember a couple years later, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it, you know, like I'm just gonna try my hand at it, why not? So then I tried my hand on it, and it went successfully for the first few times. I actually got people to watch, which was actually insane. The level of getting people to watch on Twitch back in the day was very, very low. So if you had like 3 viewers in your stream, you were already in like the top 5 percentile of all streams on Twitch. So it was very easy to get like the low base end like monetization stuff on there. And those first 3 years were great. They were actually very excellent. I'd always stream all the time with at least one friend of mine for the most part. I'd have somebody come over each time. It would be a fun thing that we'd end up doing. There were times where, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it because it felt like we were doing something. I was like forcing them to do it. But other times it felt great because we were just hanging out. There's like, I don't know, there's nothing else to do, so might as well do this, right? So it ended up being like a weird mixed feeling where there were times where I'm like forcing this interaction, but there are other times where it was just fine. It was like they were like, oh, let's do it, you know, fuck it. But it all just depended, really. But this kept going, and this was a trend for a good few years up until early 2020 when world events happened. So we'll talk about what happened after the world events happened, because I ended up streaming way more, and also streaming ended up becoming popular that year because everybody was home. So that is just one part about it. But to go back a little bit and talk about my experience with my friends and being there, I really did enjoy it when I was doing it with them. It was very nice, and I very much enjoyed that aspect of it. I ended up making very much heavy bonds with those friends that would always come over, and we'd always hang out and do streams. And then I had other friends that would watch me as well and be my moderators in the chat, and thus they developed their own relationships with other people that would watch the streams, and it was great. It was a good time, and I really did appreciate how everything would play out together, and it was good. I really did enjoy those first few years because it was like an association of hanging out with friends, plus hanging out with people on the internet, but that were also kind of cool. Couple occasional annoying person, but they weren't that bad at the beginning of it. There was definitely like a few and far between. There was the occasional sour apple, but everybody else would also like hate on them too, so it was kind of fine. So it was all right. And those were the years where I would say I developed the most relationships with people around there, but also just the buddies, you know. It was just a good time to chill out, have a beer or two, chill, talk about whatever we wanted to, laugh, joke, you know, whatever was on our mind, we could just mess around with and really just have fun and have an outlet on the internet. It was a good time, and I'm very happy that I did it. The only issue with it probably is, looking back at it now, is that I probably could have done more things with my time. Like, I could have done better with my time. I could have been more regimented about it, and also a little bit more upfront and honest, I guess, with my friends about it, because although I do appreciate them being there for me, I really feel like I kind of used them around that time, and that never sat right with me. So if they're listening to this, they'll probably understand that. But besides that, I always felt like it was something to do, which was nice, because there were times where we just have nothing to do. We're just like, all right, let's just do this. And I tried to make it work, aka try to get popular, but you know, there was only so much I could go, and so far that I could take this style of content that I was producing to a certain maximum point, you know, that had to like escalate it even further and further to get it past to where it went. But that is for the next time, really. And the next time is where I'll talk about what happened after and why I ended up stopping the stream and all the other downsides, basically. But this first part, upsides, nothing but upsides. Enter a name. Thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed. None. Exercises skipped. Also none. Surprisingly got everything in. So that was very nice. It was very happy. I'm very happy about that. But anyways, back to the main subject matter. So since I've decided to do this as a little bit of a two-part situation, I think for this first part I'm going to do something along the lines of like the beginnings and rise, and maybe talk about some of the background, some of the things that I may have talked to some people about, maybe not have talked to some people about, some of the like behind the scenes stuff, some things that are a little bit more interesting that get to peel back the curtain that has been there since the beginning of time, really, since I was a live streamer, and it's been long enough removed from that I can actually peel back some of the layers and actually talk about things, maybe a little bit objectively, unobjectively, who even knows if that's the correct term, but it is something I do want to talk about. Maybe I'll show this video to a couple of people that I know that I still talk to who watched me stream back in the day, so that might be something I end up doing. But when I first started streaming, it was way better than it was near the end, I'll say that, and I think I will get into more of that later or in the next episode, because I do want to get into some of the reasons why I stopped and near the end and all that other stuff. But for now, just know that I did enjoy, for a while there, I did actually enjoy streaming. I thought it was a fun thing, and I realized that it was very hit or miss. It wasn't necessarily every night was the greatest night ever, but it was still novel and fun and entertaining to do, and having the guys around was always a great time, and I was very happy about that, and I missed that near the end, but we'll get to that tomorrow. But it was a great time, and then I guess tomorrow we'll talk about the peak, the solo era, and then the end and everything afterward. I do slightly miss it, but I also know that that chapter in my life is over, so there's no coming back. So I'll say this: tune in tomorrow to find out a little bit more and see the second part of my confessions as a former live streamer. And I would love to know your thoughts and opinions about really anything, whether you watched one of my old streams or watched a live stream before in general or anything like that. Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Well, actually part 2, so that'll be that. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. Thank you very much for watching. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.